Ladies and gentlemen, there's a quiet power moving beneath the surface of every great success story. It's not the shouting from rooftops. It's not the endless social media updates. It's the silent, unseen grind. The long nights, the quiet, sacrifices, the lonely hours no one ever sees. We live in a world obsessed with noise, likes, comments, applause. But true greatness isn't born in the spotlight. It's forged in silence. This is the kind of silence that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't beg for attention because it knows something greater is coming. Today, I want to talk about why working hard in silence is one of the most powerful forces behind personal transformation, lasting success, and true self-respect. Let's explore 5 key principles that will help you unlock that silent strength. Silence, though often underestimated, is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess on the journey to greatness. In a world addicted to noise, where every move is shared, every plan tweeted, and every ambition broadcasted, we forget that silence is a sanctuary. It is the shield that guards your dreams from the corrosive effects of judgment, envy, and unsolicited opinions. When you speak too soon, you invite resistance, not always from enemies, but often from those closest to you, those who love you yet fear your change. Their doubt is wrapped in concern, but its weight can be crushing. A single "that's not realistic" can echo louder than 100 reasons why you should try, and that echo can be enough to shake your confidence, to make you question the very thing you once burned for. But when you choose silence, you gain something rare: clarity. You begin to build a tunnel vision that cuts through the chaos. You no longer look sideways. You no longer seek validation. You stop measuring your progress by applause or criticism. You stop asking for directions from people who've never been where you're going. Silence allows you to go to work, not for the world to see, but for the purpose that set your soul on fire. And that kind of focus is a weapon. Picture this: a woman in a cafe surrounded by the clatter of cups and the low murmur of conversations. No status updates, no cheering crowd, no public encouragement, just a pen, a notebook, and a dream. J.K. Rowling wasn't building her empire on social media. She wasn't shouting from rooftops about a boy wizard. She was writing, quietly, with nothing but belief to carry her. No guarantees, no certainty, just raw determination. That silence, so easily mistaken for inactivity, was the birthplace of a phenomenon. Over 500 million books later, the world spoke her name. But she didn't have to say a word until the work was done. That's the power of keeping your vision sacred. When you guard your dream with silence, you give it the space to grow, to breathe, to become real. You protect it from being poisoned by the fears of others. You build it brick by brick, shielded from the storms of criticism and the distractions of praise. Yes, even praise can be dangerous. Applause too early can trick you into thinking the work is finished, can seduce you into comfort before your foundation is solid. Silence saves you from that illusion. So let your actions be your voice. Let your results do the talking. The world respects results. And when they come, they won't care how quietly you worked, only that you finished what you started. Stay silent. Stay focused. The dream is yours, not theirs. And when the time is right, let your success make the loudest noise of all. Silence, though it may seem like an absence, is in truth a presence more powerful than applause. In the moments when the world is quiet, when there are no cheers, no likes, no affirmations, you are given a rare and invaluable opportunity, the chance to hear your own voice, unfiltered. In this space, you no longer ask, "Do they approve?" Instead, you ask a far more meaningful question. Is this in alignment with my purpose? That question becomes the compass that guides you, not the shifting opinions of those who neither understand your vision nor carry your burdens. External praise is sweet, but it can become a crutch. When you chase approval, you train your mind to depend on it. You create a habit where your work is no longer for the mission, but for the reaction. That's a dangerous trade. Because applause may come and go, but your purpose must endure. Silence builds something stronger than popularity. It builds inner strength. It forges an internal engine that does not sputter when the crowd walks away. You become the type of person who keeps showing up, not because someone's watching, but because your soul demands it. There is a discipline that only silence can teach. In silence, no one is patting your back. No one is clapping for your early efforts. And that's where true self-respect is born. When you show up again and again, without a spotlight, without someone praising your grind, that's where your confidence stops being borrowed and starts being owned. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe, not because someone told you to, but because you've seen what you can do when no one else is looking. Science itself echoes this truth. A study from NYU found that when people publicly announce their goals, they often feel a false sense of completion. That temporary satisfaction, the momentary buzz of telling the world you're going to do something, can trick your brain into believing you've already done it. And so, the fire fades, the urgency disappears, the work is left undone. That's the danger of premature recognition. It steals your momentum before you've earned it. Silence, however, protects your drive. It guards the fire until it is ready to light up the world. Let others talk. Let them rush to share their intentions. You, however, are different. You've chosen the path of quiet power. You've chosen to build when no one is watching, to train when no one is cheering. That's how leaders are formed. That's how legacies are written. Not in the noise of promises, but in the quiet, relentless execution of purpose. When you stop needing the world to see you, you begin to see yourself more clearly. And in that vision lies all the strength you'll ever need. In a world intoxicated by noise, declarations, and empty promises, there remains one force that cuts through the fog like a sword through silk: action. While many talk, few do. And those who act, who labor in silence and let the results tell their story, rise above the clamor of those who merely speak. There is immense power in withholding your declarations, in resisting the urge to shout your intentions from the rooftops. Words can be powerful, yes, but they pale in comparison to the force of undeniable results. You do not need to tell the world, "I'm going to build something great." Build it. Let them discover it through its impact. You do not need to announce your journey to better health, your commitment to discipline, or your promise of success. Let the change in your energy, your body, your lifestyle, whisper the truth more powerfully than any caption ever could. In the end, it is not your intention the world respects. It is your transformation. A young man once stood before his mentor and said with a fire in his eyes, "I will be a millionaire by 30. It was not arrogance that shaped his tone, but ambition. His mentor, seasoned by years of experience and tempered wisdom, did not applaud. He simply smiled and said, "Then stop talking about it. Start becoming it." That moment marked a shift, not just in mindset, but in destiny. The young man walked away not to gather applause, not to make another promise, but to work. In silence, he learned. In silence, he failed and rose again. In silence, he built brick by brick, until by 28, not only had he reached his goal, he had exceeded it. Multiple businesses, strong revenue, influence earned through execution. And suddenly, those who once dismissed his dream fell silent. They could not argue with the reality that stood before them. That is how you know it's real, when you no longer need to explain yourself, because the evidence stands taller than any excuse, louder than any doubt. There is a quiet confidence that comes from achievement, and it cannot be faked. It is born only through effort, through grit, through sacrifice done in solitude. While others chase validation through attention, you must chase evolution through action. It is your responsibility, not to impress others, but to fulfill the vision planted in your heart. Results are the only language that cannot be debated. When you produce, when you perform, when your work speaks for itself, even your silence becomes thunderous. It demands attention. It commands respect. So let the world talk. Let them doubt. Let them speculate. Let them misunderstand. You are not here to convince them. You are here to become. And the moment your results arrive, you will not need to say a single word. The world will know. There is a sacred force within you, your energy. It fuels your vision, drives your progress, and shapes your future. Yet far too often, it is poured out in the wrong places, scattered in conversations that serve no purpose, drained in attempts to justify a dream that others were never meant to understand. Every time you feel the need to explain why you're chasing something greater, to defend your goals to people who haven't earned a seat at your table, you give away a piece of that energy. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day exhausted, not from building your dream, but from constantly explaining it. Silence is the protector of that energy. It shields it from the careless opinions of those who do not share your vision, who cannot see what you see. When you choose to work quietly, you are not hiding. You are preserving. You are channeling every ounce of your strength into the mission itself, not the noise surrounding it. You are no longer concerned with proving, because you understand that proving is a distraction. Building is where the real power lies. Consider the athlete preparing for the Olympics, the highest stage in the world of sport. Do you think they waste time broadcasting every workout, explaining every painful sacrifice, every missed party, every early morning? No, they do not seek applause during preparation. Their minds are set, their bodies disciplined, their eyes locked on a singular goal. They train in silence. They push through pain in solitude, and when the time comes, they let the podium speak for them. The medal around their neck is not a product of words. It is the result of unspoken effort, unseen discipline, and unmatched focus. You, too, are preparing for something great. And like the athlete, you must decide where your energy will go. Will it go into answering doubters? Will it go into convincing others that your dream is valid? Or will it go into becoming so excellent, so unshakable, so prepared, that when your moment arrives, there is no argument left to be made? Real power is not loud. It does not scream for attention. It simply arrives and changes everything. When you stop explaining, when you stop seeking permission, when you stop responding to the noise, you begin to gather your power. You become unstoppable, not because others finally believe in you, but because you finally stopped needing them to. That's the turning point. That's where greatness begins. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, where work is done quietly, where vision is sharpened, where energy is protected like treasure. Let others talk. Let them question. You don't owe them your process. You owe yourself your progress. And when the results show up, when the dream is no longer a dream but a living, breathing reality, there will be nothing left to explain. The world will see. And you, fueled by every drop of energy you once protected, will be ready. There is a certain magnetism in silence that no loud proclamation can replicate. When you commit yourself to the path of quiet excellence, you send a different signal to the world, not of desperation or need for validation, but of certainty, of grounded confidence, of someone who knows where they're going and doesn't need to shout about it. There is something deeply powerful about a person who moves forward without announcing every step. The world begins to notice, not because you've demanded their attention, but because your consistent effort has made ignoring you impossible. In silence, you become a mystery worth understanding. People look at you and wonder, who is this person who isn't seeking the spotlight, yet their work keeps shining? And that curiosity is far more powerful than attention begged for. When you stop trying to be noticed, you begin to build real value, value that draws the right kind of people, the right kind of opportunities, the right kind of energy. You don't chase opportunity. You prepare for it, build for it, work for it, so when it arrives, you are not scrambling, you are ready. Think of those who have made the most significant marks on the world. They are not the ones who speak endlessly about what they're going to do. They are the ones who act. They understand that results have a voice of their own. Take Elon Musk, for example. He does not flood the world with promises. He does not explain every move. Instead, he works. And because his work is bold, consistent, and real, the world pays attention. Not because he asked it to, but because results command respect. His silence speaks volumes, and his execution builds trust. And that trust becomes influence. When you are consistent in your quiet pursuit, your success becomes inevitable and undeniable. And more importantly, it becomes lasting. Noise creates a moment, but silence nurtures a legacy. When you focus on the work instead of the recognition, you begin to build something that not only changes your life, but impacts the lives of others. You create more than results, you create reputation. And from reputation comes influence. That's the true measure of success. Not how many people know your name today, but how your actions continue to inspire long after you're done speaking. So let others talk. Let them advertise and beg and chase. You were made for something more. You were made to build. And every day you commit to the work without needing the world's applause, you take one step closer to becoming someone whose life is not just heard, but felt. Let your silence be your strategy. Let your results be your introduction. And let your legacy be the loudest thing about you. So remember this: work when no one is watching. Build when no one believes in you. Struggle without applause. Win in silence. And let success echo so loudly that the world can't help but listen. Let the critics talk. Let the doubters doubt. You stay quiet. You stay hungry. You stay focused. Because your silence isn't weakness. It's a strategy, and when the time is right, your work will roar louder than any words ever could. Thank you.